We here at the Game Saloon Rift Tracks always support any and all that are involved in the creation and distribution of any show we feature, and will encourage any of those watching to support the official release. Thank you and enjoy the show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Rift Tracks for November 9th, 2013. With your host, Peacemaker2448.
And the lovable Rampant Epsilon.
You had to have something in there, didn't you?
Yes, I had to.
Oh,
I figured since Glock ain't here, I needed to kind of fill that void there.
yeah.
Even though he said he was going to be there today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watch him show up halfway through the show. Granted, we say that a lot, but
Yeah.
we don't rule anything out here.
No. Because the second you rule it out, then it happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, folks, last week we had a alright filler arc for Wizard
Yeah.
with 12 and 13. This week we're moving on to episodes 14 and 15, The Return of the Film Director. And after the last scene is... ... I had to emphasize the dots. But before we get into all that, we'll talk about what we've been watching, which is not Gaim because it was off this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in its place, we can get a couple things we can talk about. One I'll be talking about primarily. The other is a post up on the HJU forums. That's Henshin Justice Unlimited forums from Kamen Rider Underground, which are unconfirmed spoilers for upcoming episodes. So we're going to be looking at all this, talking about it. And I don't know if you can put up the spoiler image or not, because I've read through this beforehand, and considering I've seen a clip from episode 5 and a preview for episode 6, this is kind of falling in line. And this was posted during the break.
You're not going to believe this crap.
Can't put it up.
I don't remember where I saved it. It is not where I thought I would have put it. Let's put it that way.
Wait a minute. Tommy?
Yes.
Look at my icon down the corner.
Okay.
What does it
what
say?
It? What do you mean? What does it say?
When my name is there, what does the name read?
Did it read your name?
Does it read my username?
No.
That was what I was going to point out.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking on the stream and I'm like, oh, my name's there. Why is my name there?
Really? I wouldn't have realized. Shit. Forgot to refresh it. I didn't just do what I think I did.
What'd you do?
Anyone watching on our site kind of can't watch on our site right now. You do realize that.
You forgot the embed, didn't you?
Bingo! Whoops. Fixing it. I kind of forgot to do that. Damn it. What's it say for me then?
The gaming ...
Hmm. Hmm. Okay then.
Can't change that either.
You'd have to change your name for your uh account.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, now everyone knows my first name. Ooh.
Oh well, it's not like they can do that much.
And it's not like I say your first name on a weekly basis. Granted, before you changed your name, it was King Thomas 92, so I
Yeah,
think people could
so
have figured that out.
yeah. Agreed.
Moving on.
I don't even remember where you put the spoiler image on the TGS. There it is. Never mind, I found it. And cool, I found the other one too.
What other one?
The one I had on my desk, on my computer already.
Oh.
I
So,
completely lost track of where that image was, and I don't understand how.
um, so folks, like we were saying before I got distracted, these are unconfirmed spoilers for upcoming episodes. So these may or may not happen. But from what I've seen from episode 5 and episode 6, these may very well happen. And
Uh,
more than just what they're saying, or what this is
So,
saying.
so basically, if you've been following Game, cover your ears or mute the stream until I remove the image. Just
Where,
saying.
which people can see. I don't see it up on the stream.
You better fucking be up on the stream.
I'm waiting for that before
Uh,
I start saying things because
it's on the stream.
there it goes. The
Your
stream.
stream's behind.
That's what I was going to point out.
Sheesh.
Okay. So yeah, mute stream until this image goes away. All right. Now this will be covering the episodes up into um, the break before the new year, because Ryder and Sentai both have a week off right around before the new year happens.
Which is smart.
And it's about normal for everything. Even WWE takes a break in that week. And they go year round. So yeah, this will be episodes 5 through 11, potential spoilers. I do mean potential, but like I said for episodes 5 and 6. So just to run down, just to give this thing a quick read off so you can know what it's saying. In order to turn the Invest games into a rider game, Sid has been giving out Sunagoku drivers to various beat rider teams. After Hideyoshi and Ryoji receive their drivers, they betray Kaito and attack him. Kota attempts to help Kaito, but Kaito insists that he will win on his own and refuses any help. I don't know why it says him, but I assume it's help.
Probably supposed to be help from and then him.
Yeah.
Sounds
Uh,
like 2 words got missed.
Mitsune, or Michi, tries to persuade Kota to stop helping the enemy, but Kota, who wants to stop the fight between riders, doesn't listen. A few days later, there are invest attacks on the citizens around the city. The riders decide to stop fighting each other first and stop fighting each other and get rid of the invest first. I don't know why there's a second that first verse and first in there.
I
Blech.
don't either.
During the battle, Kota sees Michi going into the forest and collecting lock seeds. Soon he realizes that it was all Michi's plan to stop the rider battle by bringing the invest into the city. Even though Michi did manage to stop the rider battle, Mai and other Team Guy members dislike his actions. Michi was forced to leave the team. On the other hand, Sid was the there's the missing part of that sentence right there.
Yeah, wow.
Oh wait, no, wait. Sid wants the riders to start the battle again. Why is there was? It should be want. I don't know why I'm nitpicking spelling errors on a forum post on the internet.
Because it makes no sense if you try to read it off like you're doing.
I know. He gives Sengoku Driver the Pierre and tells him to make the battle more intense than ever. Bravo swiftly beats Gritton and Kurokage, who are chief first. Gritton is Hideyoshi and Kurokage is Ryoji, just for reference. But Ryugen comes to help him. Them, I assume, because he's not helping. Oh wait, no, Koto's in trouble against both Gritton and Kurga. Beat them with ease and takes away their player passes as well. Saying that they must beat Gaim in order to reclaim the player passes. Koto was in trouble against both Gritton and Kurokage, but Ryugen comes to help him. Michi has actually changed dance teams and is playing now for Team Blue Sky. He still thinks they can happily compete against each other through dancing, even though they are in different teams. Bravo now goes to challenge Baron and absolutely destroys him. Pierre tells Kaito that he cannot fight anymore and he has no value at all, just to make Baron attack other groups, thus managing to continue the rider battle. Takatora is worried about the fact that Mitsuni has received a Sengoku Driver. He persuades Michi to leave the dance teams, but fails. As a result, Takatora tells him the top secret in the Yagasho Corporation about the Sengoku Driver in the Invest games. At the same time, challenging Team Gaim is Team Pop-Up, who up to this stage has not done much in the spotlight. Pop-Up's leader takes his belt out, but it's not the Sengoku Driver. Goes on to comment about that. Earlier rumors regarding Bravo turned out to be true. In this case, Watermelon Lockseed, which will be given by Ryugen, since according to this, he's been in the forest before. So we'll say Gaim versus Gritton and Kurokage. We'll see the debut of Watermelon Arms. In fact, okay. And he gives an episode breakdown of what will happen each episode. Strawberry Arms will debut next episode. We know that. That was in the preview.
Yeah.
Quick tease of Gritton and Kurokage at the end. That is not true. They do not pop up at the end. They pop up sooner than that. Because the clip I saw did not end the episode. I know that. And they get full henshin sequences. Plus, there was a fourth sound covered on the Sengoku Driver. That is not either one of theirs. I can't tell who is using whose sound, but Gritton and Kurokage are using Gaim and Baron's henshin sound. Yeah, that fourth one is not either one of them. So it is possibly Bravo's or someone else's that we don't know about. Or possibly tied to the Genesis Driver. I don't know. Episode 6, writers work together. Ryugen leaves Team Gaim. Quick glimpse of Bravo at the end. Not true. Bravo will be throughout the entire episode. That is his episode, his big debut episode. We see him both in and out of suit in the preview. Yeah, and I don't think the writers are working together. Gaim versus Gritton and Kurokage, debut Watermelon Arms. That is probably a possibility, but they're probably still working with Baron. Bravo versus Baron, debut of Mango Arms. That's a possibility. More plot area stuff with the Kirishima brothers, debut of Kiwi Arms. Possibility. Episode 10, debut of the first Genesis Driver rider. That might not be true. We might not see that until the first episodes to start next year.
Or even episode 11.
Yeah, we might end episode 11 on a tease of the Genesis Driver, and episode 12 next year will be the full debut. But we know toy catalog-wise, that is coming very quick, along with Shin Zengetsu, which is the Genesis Driver version of him, and the 3 other Energy Lock Seed riders. So, yeah. I'll be honest, a lot of this makes sense. Oddly enough.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, some of this may not actually happen. But in terms of the episode 5 and 6 stuff, that's called almost dead on. Grid and Kurokage show up episode 5. There's a clip right now up on I don't know if it's hit J Fusion yet, but it hit no, it's not hit J Fusion. It hit Ornez Range right now is a clip of both of their debut appearance. Along uh, along with the preview for episode 6, which is also on J Fusion, which we get a full look at Bravo. So it's all there. I don't think the writers are working together. That might lead into the debut of the Genesis driver and the energy lock seeds. That might be, 8, 9, 10 maybe. Because
You
this
think
show's
they
not
would
going.
honestly drag it on that far?
No, I'm saying what he has later on is going to be earlier, and what he has earlier is later on.
True.
Like that whole Michi plot, I think that's going to be after Bravo, after this Bravo stuff, not before. I think he's got it flip-flopped. I think Bravo's going to come in, do his thing, and then we're going to have the Michi plot. Because
Where,
Bravo's...
well, I don't know though. Didn't it say in there that Bravo's purpose is to try to get the battle going again?
Possibly, but...
I mean, if Bravo's purpose is to get the battle going again, then it would stand to reason that Michi's part takes place first.
Then why are we getting an episode... Then why is he coming in episode 6 and not later? We should not be getting a tease of episode 6. We're getting him full on episode 6, and there's been no Michi plot in terms of what's being talked about in this post. I think Bravo is the continued escalation, not the restart. I think the Genesis driver is going to be the restart. And what Michi's going to do is going to try to get everyone on the same page with that plot.
So you think that Bravo's just going to be in there to make matters worse,
Mm-hmm.
and then Michi's going to be the one to try to get everyone realizing, hey, we got to work together. There's going to be someone stronger than us.
Yeah, Michi's going to be the one that's going to try to unite everyone, or at least get all the writers to be like, hey, stop it. Because Bravo's going to escalate the fight. Because it's no longer going to be about the teams then.
I could see your point there then.
Yeah.
Bravo making it to the point where everyone's just ready to kill each other and the teams don't matter anymore.
Yeah, because the thing is, Bravo is not a part of any dance team. He's not. That's that continued escalation of the fight. Because before it was all about, no, they're fighting the Invis, and the writers aren't supposed to fight each other, so that's why they drag race. Now it's going to be about them fighting. Sid wants them fighting because he wants to really test these lock seeds. I fully believe that Sid at this point is using the Invest games to just test this equipment.
I think Sid knows exactly what's going to happen all the way down through it. And I still think in the back of my mind that truly he is the main enemy of the show.
Mm-hmm.
Because something about him just makes it feel like he knows exactly what's going to happen when he hands out all of these, and he's just wanting to sit back and watch it happen.
Yeah, he wants to test it. He wants to test all this equipment because he wants to improve it for himself or improve it for later down the line. He's that weapons manufacturer that's like, here's a prototype, and just sits back and watches the field testing, and it's like, well, I don't know what to fix,
Well,
and he doesn't care. about what happens in between.
Well, and from a enemy standpoint, who better to test your weapons out on than a bunch of people that are at each other's throats already?
Yeah.
They're not in in theory there. They're not going to work together to take you down.
Nope.
But
They're just gonna continue buying your stuff. It was like, up, yep, we'll get your stuff, get your stuff, get your stuff. Baron's undermined him in the episode 4, but I think that's why he introduces Bravo, and that's also
because of
probably
that,
why Bravo goes straight after Baron. It just beats the shit out of him, because that might just
it's
be
one
under
of
orders
those
from Sid.
you.
Yeah,
It's one of those you're undercutting the person giving you the belt. Come here.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out. Oh yeah, Bravo's working with Sid. Like Bravo is Sid's like personal attack dog. So
I
if you
could
start
see
trying
that.
like distribute lock seats, it's like no, son. I'm the only game in town. You
I
sit
could
down.
see that actually. But you know what's funny though?
Yeah.
Everyone that has had those plants turn into lock seeds
Mhm.
have all had belts.
Mhm.
How's Sid getting this if he doesn't have a belt?
Well, do you remember the scene from? I think it was it 2 or 3 where we had the scene before the opening with Zangetsu and the Yogoro employees.
I think it was two, wasn't it?
I believe it was 2. They had belts too. The only difference is they didn't have the sword part on them. So it's possible that he has some type of, I don't know, farming belt that's not a full Sengoku driver, but has that property to it that allows him to just like pick a fruit and boom, lock seed.
Hmm.
That, or he's getting them from the corporation. Because we know someone who has a driver that didn't get it from Sid that's working for that company, and
Well,
he's working.
that we think didn't get it from Sid. Nothing's confirmed one way or the other.
Right, but it was something else he said. Let me pull up my blog because that would be a quicker option. It was a specific line he said about about Takatora's position that made me go, "Oh, he is in this position, isn't he?" Let me find it. It was crap. That was the opening one. I opened up the wrong one. I opened up my opening post. All right.
Oh God. Do
Yeah,
do do.
Takatora is project manager of the R&D department of Yakuza Style. Project manager of R&D. Now, out of anywhere in this corporation, who do you think would be coming up with some tech like this? And who would be researching and developing lock seeds?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, and also I'm not sure who exactly his is in the conversation, but the dad is a higher up between Takatori and Michi. I don't know if they share the same dad or if they might be separate brothers. Who knows? For all we know, they're half brothers, or one of them's adopted. Just tossing that possibility out there. But yeah, that struck me because Sid knew Takatori's position and knew Michi right off the bat, whereas no one else knows Michi. No one knows he's connected to this big family. But Sid spotted him immediately.
But I still don't completely buy the whole he's working with that company.
Yeah, he might not be working directly, but he might be working indirectly, like he's getting supplies from them.
Either that, or maybe even he used to work for them,
Yeah,
and something happened.
yeah. It's that conversation with episode 4 where it's like, if your brother finds out I can't show my face in town, which I thought was also odd too. It's like, you know, your brother finds out I gave this to you. I can't show my face in town. It was that key line there that I'm like, okay, so it matters if you give him a belt. Not that you've given like two other people belts here and you've been distributing lock seeds. It matters if you give his brother a belt.
That's kind of why I'm thinking possibly there's something where he's not directly tied with the company anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he was never tied with it, but just anymore, I don't think he is.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about his damn Loxy from here on out. We've only seen it once, but I'm like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for when he uses that damn Loxy to turn some big badass monster and kicks everyone's ass. I'm waiting for it because I know it's going to happen. It's like, oh, I got my little lock seed here, or that, or he uses some like specific driver to turn into his own version of an armored rider and kicks the shit out of everyone.
Yeah, but it'd have to be even more powerful than the Genesis drivers now,
Yeah,
because we
and
know that's coming.
yeah, but here's the thing: it's completely mechanical. Even in design aesthetics, it's completely mechanical. So that's entirely possible because even the Genesis, even the energy lock seeds are still based off fruit.
You
Sid's
know,
isn't.
though. I kind of wonder, and this might make or break Sid as a character. If when Michi gets them all working together, when that happens, depending on Sid's reaction to that, will probably make or break what kind of a character he's going to be.
Yeah,
Because chances are, at that point, if he's just like, it happened, and kind of keeps going on with what he's doing, then that's going to kind of show that maybe he's not the true enemy here. Maybe he's just trying to make money.
yeah. Maybe he's just the arms dealer in the middle of a war. He's just like, yeah, here's a weapon. Here's a weapon.
But if he's sitting there and he's kind of looking at it and kind of wondering how he can get it back to where it was, then possibly he is a mastermind behind it.
Yeah, that or if he's like, well, hmm, that happened. Oh, time to
And
change up plans.
and I say a mastermind because let's face it, we kind of can't completely rule the corporation out of this right now.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is no way the corporation's not like, oh, these armored riders are going around town and doing stuff. Because I'm like, your logos are plastered fucking everywhere. You own this town. You know everything that's happening, even with these beat writers.
also, I mean, let's face it, from episode one, they have kind of seemed like the shady company out there that
Yeah, and it
that
doesn't.
we still have yet to know much about.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that in episode 1, when Kota's like, I wonder who's getting these Loxies out there, and we see a shot of Sid, and then we see a shot of a commercial for the corporation. Immediate.
Yeah,
It's like the show telling us, hey, Sid's doing it, but these guys are involved too. Eh.
yeah. There's been hints all the way. That's why it's like, huh. But honestly, in light of the whole conversation between Sid and Michi, I really don't think Sid has any technical ties to that company anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to rule out the fact that he may have in the past,
But maybe
just
now.
not anymore.
Yeah. It might be even possible that he wants to overthrow the corporation and get a seat for himself or find a seat back in. Maybe this is an entire plot to work his way back in or
Yeah, but starting a
overthrow
whole,
him completely.
but to start a whole war because of it,
I'm just throwing
unless
ideas
he,
out there.
well, unless he's trying to prove a point of how dangerous the lock seeds are.
That's possible. I mean, that goes back to the rumor we were talking about last week. Was it last week?
I don't remember.
The rumor about that referred a lot to the Garden of Eden and how I think it was Gaim's final form will be an apple. Or wait, was that in the original rumors or was that somewhere I read later down the line?
That might have been something you read down the line.
It's probably yeah, that has to be something read. Yeah, that's something I read later down the line. Someone else had a theory on what Gaim's final form was going to be based off that rumor, because the rumor was how the forest is alluding to the Garden of Eden, and the fruits are those forbidden fruits of knowledge that uh, make the people who use them turn into people who turn into beings much like the Inves, or make them just as bad as the Inves.
Hmm.
You remember that?
I think I remember you talking about it.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe, but I don't think we were on the show.
yeah, we probably weren't.
Hmm.
Well, you can look up that rumor. The theory someone had based off that rumor is that Gaim's final form will be an apple, and it will somehow work in Eden, like Eden Arms or something like that. And I tried to look up like the favorite fruits of Japanese kids, and I couldn't find anything. No, I couldn't find a list because that's confirmed how the creators for Gaim picked the fruits. Is they looked at a list of fruits that Japanese kids liked and picked from there. And I have to think apple's in there somewhere, but we've seen no apple. I'm gonna listen to something right now.
Not yet, anyhow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. I was seeing if there was a pun translation wise, and there's not. But yeah, this is the unconfirmed spoilers for upcoming episodes that ring very much true to a certain extent and could play in a lot into what we're going to be seeing over the next few weeks. But I'm getting really excited for Gaim now. That also scares me for Figure Arts coming up, which apparently we're not getting Figure Arts until March, or no, not March, May. At least Gaim and Baron Figure Arts, those are usually the first.
Oh God. Wow. Okay.
What?
This ain't necessarily for kids in Japan,
Oh.
but I found a list of fruits there, and for the apple, it says that it is one of the most popular fruits in Japan. If you look at citrus fruits, orange,
Mm-hmm.
um, berries, you got strawberry, grape,
Mm-hmm. Melon.
watermelons in there.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. We'll get everything we've seen so far. There hasn't been a pear, no apple, no permission. There's an orange. No yuzu, no sudachi, no kamara. There's been peach. Peach is one of the energy seed lock riders. Cherry's one of them. I don't believe plum. I'll have to look up the lock seed. Let me get the lock seed list real quick, just for
Okay.
comparison's sake.
But we know strawberry and grape.
Mm-hmm.
I have a funny feeling that we're going to be seeing quite a few of these.
Yeah, no plum, strawberry and grape, melon, watermelon. Kiwi definitely is on there. I remember reading that. We just read that, didn't we?
Hmm,
We didn't. No, we didn't.
no, we didn't.
No, that was mango,
Yeah.
which is Baron's secondary one. Oh wait, no, kiwi. Kiwi's Ryugen's secondary. I'm looking at the lock seed list right now. It lists kiwi as Ryugen's secondary, second lock seed.
Jeez. Okay. I just also found this top 10 list.
Boink.
Let's see here. Got strawberries, mango, bananas, watermelon,
Mm-hmm.
apple,
Mm-hmm.
pineapple,
Mm-hmm.
grapes, oranges,
Cherries.
cherries,
Peach.
peaches.
What hits? That hits nearly every single lock seed we've seen so far. The only thing that's not there, that it's a main rider, is durian, is the Gridden, Kurikage, and Bravo, which are durian, uh, pine cone, and acorn. And two of those are nuts. And I don't think durian's going to be listed there.
So, so, yeah. And if you keep going down, it gets even more in there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was just finding it funny at the first 10 right there. I think most of those we've seen the lock seeds for already.
Mango, apple, no. And not just as confirmed lock seeds. Those are the only two we don't have confirmed lock seeds of. Everything else we have a confirmed lock seed of. Everything else.
so so I could see it entirely possible for Gaim's final form to be an apple.
Granted, and that would probably make sense because it's like, what's a universally loved fruit? Apple.
Uh-huh. Now, like I said, this isn't a top 10 list for children in Japan.
Which is what they pulled it off of.
This is just a top 10 fruits, period,
Mm-hmm.
on that second one. So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely something we're gonna have to be. It's definitely something to look into because we know they even said it themselves where they pulled these those fruit off of. That's what they said themselves. So if you look to there, you could put two and two together from there. Who's getting what, possibly,
Possibly.
or at least you know what's going to be put in. Who's getting what lock seed is up for debate, and hell, the arms change series might hold true, and they may swap arms at some point.
Yeah, it's very likely to wind up having all of them switch.
Yeah.
I could completely see at one point in the show Baron having orange arms or any kind of weird goofed up combination throughout there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there again, like we've already kind of figured out, episode 5 is going to have a second strawberry arms lock seed.
Yeah. Also, Kurakage, and Gridden debut, which is 3 new lock seats for that episode, debuting Arms 4. Next episode debuts Durian with Bravo. Thus continuing the trend we've had since the beginning. Alright. Need to talk about the other thing that I watched.
Yep. I'm safe to take the image off now, right?
Yeah. The only thing I'll be talking about is the basic stuff for Superhero Tyson Z, which came out today from Overtime. This movie. I'll give it credit. It is a bit better than the original Superhero Tyson, but that's not saying much. Especially not for this movie. It was just as as Superhero Tyson was for me. I did not care throughout the entire movie, and I even questioned the plot. Because here's the basic premise of the movie. There's these magical occurrences going on throughout the universe. And by magical occurrences, I mean these triangle-shaped portals are opening up at random places. Things are going through these portals and popping up somewhere else. That is the extent of what we've seen happen. Keep that in mind. Now, Haruto sees this happen on Earth, and he's going to investigate this. This is the start of the film, mind you. Then all of a sudden, the new Gavon from the recent Space Sheriff movie and the crossover episodes with Go Busters shows up and tells Haruto and asks Haruto if he is who he is. And for whatever reason, they believe Haruto is the one behind this. If not behind this, he is the one who has given the newly revived Space Shocker the ability to do so. Because he is the most powerful magic user on Earth. That is the only reason they went after him, is he is the most powerful magic user on Earth. So he must be the one behind this. At no point did they stop to ask him, hey, you behind this? No, it's all aggressive. Which I think is crap. They have no proof. No proof that Haruto is behind this. And also, just because Haruto is the most powerful magic user does not mean he's the only magic user on fucking Earth. You have the Magi Rangers, who are all magic users. You have countless other writers in Super Sentai teams and other tokusatsu heroes who have origins in magic. Hell, the Bokengers deal with magic shit on a weekly basis. They literally deal with magic artifacts on a weekly basis in their show. Do you think that, like, they dug up something? Do the Hurricaners use magic? Maybe the Hurricaners use magic with their ninja arts. Do you count that as magic, or do you just count that as ninjutsu?
Oh God.
What about the Zoo Rangers? Do they use? I think they use magic. Or the Die Rangers? I think they use magic. Seriously, that's how the movie starts. And from there on, it's this continued idea. It's like, well, Haruto's behind this. Haruto's behind this. Until we find out, oh yeah, Space Sharker's the one behind this. I go, okay, why are we continuing to pursue Haruto? Okay, we stop pursuing Haruto because he goes off and disappears for 70% of the movie! Until the very end!
Oh, so he basically leaves until he's needed.
Exactly. Just like in the last movie with Forze and the Go Busters, who, mind you, were billed just as high as Decade at Gokai Red.
And then they just kind of disappear until they're needed.
Right.
Mm.
Instead, we focus on Gokai Blue, Gokai Green, Hina from O's, and End as the ones that follow around Decade and Gokai Red and see them kill various riders and Sentai teams. I say kill because they don't, because it's a stupid twist.
Was it some kind of a stupid twist like the whole rider battles?
Essentially, it was thought that Tsukasa and Marvelous went evil, but they didn't. They faked it the entire time. They just sent everyone off to this alternate dimension when they were killing them. Until the right moment came when Daishocker and Daizangetsu revealed their big awesome plan, and then they striked. Yes, they waited until the villains almost completed their plan.
and wow.
Why? You knew they were up to something evil. Why did that stop you now?
And let me guess, it was all Decade's plan.
I have to assume so because Marvelous acts like Decade throughout the entire fucking movie. Because
Uh,
Tsukasa is just acting like he did in All Riders. You remember that movie, right?
yes.
He's acting like he is in All Riders. Now imagine Marvelous acting like that for the entire movie. Almost. Up until the very end. And then he's back to normal. And Tsukasa's back to his normalist self. With that quotation.
Basically, by that point, you're saying that Tsukasa is being less of a dick.
He has multiple personality disorder, I swear, because he swings from bad guy to good guy way too easily.
Oh yeah.
He's got to have a bad personality in there somewhere and a good personality. He just clicks it on and off. It's like, I need to be evil. Click. I'm evil. Now I need to be a good guy. Click.
I know. He's got two cards, one for good guy and one for bad guy.
Maybe.
I know, bad joke, but still.
Yeah. But eventually, old Gavon, the original Gavon, gives new Gavon and the rest of the heroes of Earth an hour to be like, you either destroy them, or we're going to shoot the giant death laser cannon at Earth, destroy that palace, and destroy Earth in the process, because apparently we don't have anything of a smaller caliber. Which, unless I missed something, is bullshit. You have three space sheriffs on the planet right now. They all have ships. You have Sentai teams with giant ass mechs. You're telling me
Fire the
not one of them
lasers!
can blow up that palace and stop this threat? We have to shoot the giant death cannon from halfway across the goddamn galaxy? Very
Yes.
slowly, mind you?
Yes. Fire the lasers!
Also, this was all part of the evil mastermind's plan, because the explosion would revive the great evil they were trying to do to begin with. So it would have been, wait for it, pointless to blow up Earth. Because you would have just accomplished their plan to begin with, you just would have committed mass murder. I wouldn't say genocide, because old Gavin is an Earthling. That's my problem with the movie. It has a plot that tries to be smart, but it's stupid. Stupid. And it has characters be there for reasons. And also,
Sounds like it also has characters not be there for no reasons.
yeah. Also, Decade does show up in this movie, but in suit, but the original actor doesn't show up. Hiromu from Go Busters voices Tsukasa in this movie. He does a terrible job out of it because I immediately noticed it was Hiromu.
Oh God.
So just imagine Hiromu's voice coming out of Decade's suit. And apparently, whoever did Meteor's voice did it well enough that I didn't notice immediately. I think it was Guy.
Huh.
But yeah, Meteor's voice was spot on. And it wasn't the original actor. And they had a whole bunch of other heroes show up randomly, I'm guessing, because some of them were Earth-based and some of them are Magic-based. I don't think Hibiki is magic, but whatever. And they had some of them show up that were space, and they had a big fight, and oh yeah, the Kyryugers are supposed to be in this movie for all of like 2 minutes, and they kind of disappear randomly. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, and also Kiryu Gold shows up for no explainable reason. And
Just cause.
yes, because we see how Kiryu debuts in the show. It's in the show how he debuts. There is no way that this show is in continuity, that this movie's in continuity.
Eh.
Just like Superior Taizen's not in continuity. I don't care if someone tries to put this in the continuity. It's not. It's a one-off story that just has all these characters come together for reasons. If you try to connect this movie to every single story from the characters that are in there, it ain't happening. There's no
I
way.
know. I know. It all happens in an alternate universe of one of those persons.
You know, that's probably what it is. That's exactly how I think that's how exactly how comics write off any kind of one-off series. It's always an alternate world. Like the Batman, like the entire DCAU, that's an alternate universe.
Well, I mean, let's face it, it worked for decades,
Yeah.
kind of.
This one-off series is a
Not
complete alternate
really.
universe. It's just an alternate universe somewhere off in the multiverse that just has all these characters in there for reasons. We're not going to connect it to anything because even though we've specifically referenced previous events in each character's history, like the Go Busters recognize Geki, the new Gavon, immediately, which makes
Hmm.
sense because Geki's met them.
Hmm.
The only neat thing was some of the fight stuff and seeing the Go Busters back and seeing the Wizard cast once again for as little as they were there and seeing Guy back for a little bit. Didn't miss Geki at all. So yeah, that was it for me. I didn't like it. There are far better crossover films that have far better plots, that are far better written and far better directed. I can see where someone can like this by completely not paying attention to anything.
Or
But
not seeing half of it.
yeah, but I'm sorry. Watching this movie, I'm like, no, no, no. Get back here and explain this. The space sheriff's rule of thumb for a galactic-wide threat cannot be bust out the giant death cannon that will blow up a planet. They have got to have better options than this bullshit. For something that is just, oh, random portals were opening up in places.
But but they don't get to shoot the big laser too often.
too fucking bad. And it also just can't be, they're trying to swallow the universe up into this dimension. Wizard stops that in 5 seconds with Dragon. 5 seconds. With Dragon. Out of nowhere.
Leave
See?
it, leave it to Dragon to be badass.
See, that's how Wizard shows back up. Is um the big mastermind tries to start the swallowing of the entire universe into this dimension. Haruto immediately shows up transformed with Dragon, shoots the tower once. It stopped.
So
Look,
that was basically Haruto's moment of God. You guys can't do anything right.
exactly. And the only thing that happens later is that the explosion that they send revives the big birdie. Because it still goes off, it's just the three space sheriffs stop it with their ships and nearly get killed in the process. And guess what happens? It revives the big bad. So if you never shot the death cannon, they would never revive the big bad, and this fight would have been over. This movie would have been over 20 minutes early.
And probably would have made it a far better movie. Maybe.
I guess because that last action scene was awkward. Because how it happens is everyone is standing around while Wizard goes Flame Dragon and does special. The Kyryugers do Kentaro Spiker, which is their big team up maneuver. While everyone else stands around and looks.
Oh, so everyone just stood around and looked pretty.
Yes! That's literally what happened. Is it's a standoff, Kentaro Spiker, special, hit the boss. And everyone's just standing around awkwardly. Like we're setting this up. Like it's a turn-based RPG.
You two, attack! We've got next round.
I don't even.
That's the only thing that I kind of enjoyed out of All Riders. Right there is because even that last battle scene, it made sense and used everyone.
Yeah. But you see, everyone got their little moment earlier when they were taking out everyone else except the big bad. Because everyone, because when it came down to the big bad, the good guys had the smart idea. It was like, okay, let's surround him. So they do like this half circle maneuver, and they all try to go after him, except the big bad's like, I'm too good for you. I'm too powerful for you guys. And so he just swirls up everybody into this giant cyclone, and Haruto has to go Hurricane Dragon to get everyone out of that. And then they do a couple more things like that, and then the said scene I talked about happens.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And then the cute little ball thing that we've been following, that Yoko from Go Busters has been carrying around all movie and trying to protect because that's her job in the damn movie now. No, we gave her the shaft and the... No, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. We gave her a terrible role in Superhero Taisen as the Go Buster gets flung out of the mech for some reason, and Fourze replaces her because we need to reference something. We're gonna give her the job of holding the plot device for the movie. See, this thing is a plot device for the entire fucking movie. It's what everyone is after. It's the MacGuffin that talks. And he doesn't remember who he is. And he's called Cyclone. And the old organization that got brought up, I think at some point it said that their big bad used to be Psycho. His name was Psycho. Now think about that for a second. You have the old leader who is Psycho, and you have this new thing that that everyone's after from this new organization that's called Cyclone.
Yeah.
Cyclone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granted, that might not have been in the movie, but when I read that, I'm like, subtle. Fucking subtle.
So is that their way of trying to hint at a clone of that movie?
No, because I'd say say whatever movie that was. No, I think that's from a Space Sheriff series. No, I think that's like from the Scheider series. Because Scheider's the one that specifically mentions the organization. Well, this whole organization and this whole dimension. I don't know. I stopped really paying attention to this movie halfway through because I was just like, I was just done with this movie.
By that point, you were just like, "Oh, fuck this."
Yeah, I was literally saying, fuck this movie. I'm done. I skipped through portions of it. I skipped through a little bit of it. So I'm like, just get to the. I'm just gonna skip to the final action sequence so I can watch this because this might be enjoyable. It really wasn't. Look, I like Sakamoto, but whoever's doing the action over on Gaim, which I know is not Sakamoto, because Sakamoto's on Kyoryuger, is doing a damn good job on his own. So I can like action that's not Sakamoto. This was just blah. But yeah, Sakamoto's on Kyoryuger, so I know he's not on Gaim right now.
Hopefully.
I'm pretty sure he isn't. If he is, I'll be surprised. But whoever's doing the action for Gaim is doing a fantastic job of it. Whoever's the action director on that. Sakamoto is off on Kyoryuger being the action director on that. And that's a good show as well. On both action and plot. And everything else. Gaim is being a fantastic show. On characters, and plot, and action, and everything else. What is this movie? This movie is terrible. Just don't watch it. If you like the original Superhero Taisen, you might like this. But if you didn't like the original Superhero Taisen, you probably aren't going to like this. You might like it a little better, but you're still not going to really like it. I'm done talking about that movie.
Now that you've had your rant.
Yes. I'm just... yeah. Yeah.
You're at a loss of words.
Yeah. I want Gabarichu of Music and Magic Land to be out now so I can have better Tokyo movies to watch. Because I'm pretty sure both of those movies are going to be better. And those are both solo movies. They even saw where someone was like, I think it would have been better if they were all teaming up. And I'm like, no, we don't need everyone again. Because what's the point of everyone teaming up? Unless it's a really big baddie. And Daizengeki and Daisaka showing up. Eh? Anyway, we're now going to get into what we're watching this week. Like I said, it was episode 14 and 15 of Wizard. We'll get into thoughts going into them now. So, thoughts going into this week's episode was of Wizard.
Well, saying as how you said this is one of the better this is the better filler article. I mean, episode.
Arc.
Yeah. Damn it. Fucking up my words.
Words!
I had word vomit. Don't bother me. I'm kind of expecting it to be better than some of the other filler arcs we've been having, but I'm kind of staying open again.
It has a neat twist. And definitely makes you go. It definitely makes Haruto go, how do I handle this? Yeah, Haruto literally has to go, how am I going to handle this? because it quickly becomes a very tricky situation in terms of hope and despair.
Hmm.
But yeah, this is also one of the better ones, and I might as well just say it. Water Dragon's coming up. This is going to be debuting in these 2 episodes.
Honestly, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Seeing as how we've had Flame Dragon and Hurricane Dragon already, that does not really surprise me.
Now, granted, we're not going to see Land Dragon until 19, so we're going to get a break from the dragon forms for a while.
But I'm sure we're going to see a whole lot out of all three of the dragon forms he's got in the next arc.
Oh yeah, 16 has a really cool scene with Water Dragon, which is the Christmas episode,
Ah,
which will probably have something surprising for you in store. Let's just say Haruto has a Christmas ring, and it does something kind of surprising.
huh.
I will leave it there.
Hmm. I don't know what to think about that one.
There's something else I want to say, but it kind of spoils it.
Well, don't spoil it, so.
Uh, there's nothing else I have to really say about these 2 episodes. Everything else is there. Everything else I could say about it is there. Uh, I'm just kind of thinking. Nope. So we shall get into this week's episode, starting with 14. And I'm going to click the play button ahead of time just to make sure it's working, and it is.
That's why I watch the YouTube versions, which are located on our site.
Down below for the stream is on the TGSR stream page. All right,
But anyhow,
ready?
queued up and ready.
All right, starting up episode 14 in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, don't remind us of how Taruto was kind of being very aggressive last week.
Yeah. Wow. That's an ugly way of waking up.
Yeah. Also, hi's wise, man. You know, I just realized something. That wise man scene's not going to make sense later. You know, that's really odd once you think about that Koimi is a doll.
Hmm.
Yeah, that wise man scene is not going to make sense later. Wow. I'm surprised no one else thought of that. Ah, yes, more ultimatum openings. Yes, remind me of a far superior film. Oh, hi, Edgy. Oh, yeah, Edgy's in the film. Not that long, mind you. At least out of suit, but he's in the film. Fortunately, nobody else was able to make it. But I have a theory on the scene he's in if everyone else showed up.
Okay.
Unless you want me to talk about that. Because that's deep into the movie.
Oh.
I could talk about out of context. Was okay, Haruto goes into the underworld of this this collective group. Forze and crew follow with the Forze engage ring that you just saw in the opening.
Right.
Eiji shows up, and we then see a shot of him and the rest of the Neo Heisei riders out of suit and from behind, except for Eiji, because they can get their actors to reprise their roles, but we can get the costumes for them out of suit. And they give the kids that you saw in the opening their rider rings.
Hmm.
And that's how they get summoned into the underworld. Or at least their spirits get summoned into the underworld. But I have a theory because before that scene, each one of the Forza crew and Haruto were fighting out of suit. And then we cut to outside where Edgy's fighting out of suit. Now, it was going backwards from time period. It started with Haruto and went backwards from there. I believe it was going to keep going, and that not Haruto, Edgy and the rest of the people were going to show up, do a quick fight scene before they then uh, were able to use something that Philip came up with after doing a quick lookup to get themselves in there to give the rings out. Or at
Hmm.
least that's my theory. That's if everyone showed up, because Edgy kind of ends off with like, oh, kind of using a plural for writers. And I have to think that they all kind of pitch in there.
Right.
Granted, that didn't get to happen, but it still felt like they were all there because all the in-suit acting was them. But back to the plot of the movie, right? Plot of Wizard this week. After that long tangent, we get some Hurricane Dragon versus Medusa action with um, random person here.
That apparently knows Haruto.
Yeah,
Oh, nice sword and gun combo there, though.
yeah.
I thought when he did copy, he usually copies it exactly how it is at the time.
He does.
It looked like that time it was the gun from the point of copy.
Well, he probably copied it sword and then transformed it to gun.
Hmm. Where is it taking her?
Places. Just trying to freak everybody out right there. Huh. Isn't that strange? The director went missing. What do we know about missing people in this show so far?
Yeah.
6 months! Isn't that a coincidence?
Hmm.
Or if he has to do that for everyone to try to convince them, it's like, oh yeah, this is actually going on. I'm not just some crazy hobo person. Technically, I am a hobo, but I'm not crazy. Wow.
Right.
He's being really dramatic.
He's really being a con artist here.
Uh-huh. If you haven't picked up on what I've been trying to say, the hints are there. That looks familiar. Ah. Everybody gets to come in, and then you shove them right back out the door.
Well then.
Nice university, though. And apparently she borrowed all that from Hina, because I swear Hina from Oz is where wore something like that. Yeah, Harjo picks up on things like that. She seems awfully cheery about how many problems she's had.
Yeah. And he's
And
gone.
yep,
He locked him out just long enough so he could leave.
yep. So you can get away from the magic man.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the enemy stronghold, with not a person in sight.
This ain't gonna end well.
Nope.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Ooga booga 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 booga. Oh.
Hmm.
Huh. White Wizard leading her to a magic stone that was produced by Wise Man. Doesn't that seem odd?
Hmm. Hmm.
Also, reference to Ultimatum right there. I don't think Haruto wants to remember Potrine. Just saying.
Yeah, you can't smell trap there.
Mm-hmm. Sure does get around quick. Haruto save! My fallen old lady. Granted, he probably would have saw the truck coming. No, I have to think Haruto's doing all this on purpose.
And caught.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Next time, don't transform in front of a reflective device. Thus, you see the conundrum Haruto has. Okay, technically that wasn't Haruto's fault. Mm-hmm. I love that you don't see the belt at all in that
Yeah,
shot.
yeah,
You
I
just hear the
know.
sound effect. Um, Technically Dragon is one, Haruto.
Oh God,
Yep.
the plot thickens.
Mm-hmm. As you see, Haruto now has to deal with a phantom that knows a gate. But the gate doesn't know that the phantom.
So,
Now Haruto's really in trouble.
Hmm. That was a twist that, to a point, I could see coming, but wow.
Yeah, and also a commercial for Ultimatum. Well then, thoughts so far on this week's episodes?
Nice twist. Gotta
Yeah,
give it that.
yeah, this definitely gives Haruto a brand new situation. It was like, ah, always the Gate and Phantom have always been unrelated. Now they're related very heavily.
Well, and right now, would this not kind of open up a bigger thing? Because what happens if the Phantom changes back to his human form?
Oh, that would I considering where her hope lies, that might immediately cause her to despair.
Exactly.
Which will what lead that will lead us to the end of the to how this whole thing gets resolved. Like I
But
said, this is one of the better filler arcs because it is dealing with something that Haruto will never has to deal that hasn't had to deal with yet, and I don't think he will really deal with again to a certain extent.
but I know if I was watching this on a weekly basis, like when it was being released, I would be sitting there thinking, "Oh God, this has so many different twists that it could go."
Yeah,
I know from your standpoint, you already know how this plays out,
yeah.
but yeah,
I also
yeah,
know I think maybe one other time a Phantom and Gate pairing up for an arc will be this close. Will be just as connected. Actually, it will be actually more connected than this. The Gate and Phantom will be relatives.
huh,
Yeah, just picture that one. How that arc's gonna be resolved.
ah,
But
they
I'm
get
trying.
deep with some of them, don't they?
Yeah, that's some of these are really good, and some of them are not that good. But when Wizard's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's eh.
Yeah, it's never really bad.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
like
eh.
yeah. That's why I can never hate the show because nothing in the show can make me hate it. It's too good to for me to hate it that much.
So far, I can agree with you on that. I say so far because you say there's that point where it's like, eh.
Yeah,
uh,
I'm trying to think if there's any other pair ups like that. There might be close. They might be closely tied, but not. But this is a really unique situation among the episode arcs. So, anything else to say before we get queued up and ready?
mm, no,
All right, then. You queued up and ready?
of course.
All righty then. We shall look at episode 15 of Wizard. I
Yes.
forgot the. Yeah, okay. Just making sure because I forgot the number for a second.
God.
I don't know.
God.
I don't know why, but I was like 15. Because
That's
so
like me when I'm trying to name the hangouts, and it's like which episode we on?
I was just like, is this 15? Because I was thinking next week's episode for some reason. I don't know why.
No, I know why we're off. It's because we did five at the beginning.
Yeah,
But we did that for Wizard too, though. I mean, not for Wizard, for Decade too, though. So
yeah.
I don't understand how you kind of are still off on that right now. But
I was just mostly just like I wasn't quite sure on the number. I was saying 15 as I'm hoping this is the right number I'm saying because for some reason I'm unsure of it. All right. Start up episode 15 and end off this week's batch of episodes in 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, the only reason he turned to land is because of defend.
Yep. He's like, get out of here now. he changes. He changes. I'm gonna be up shit creek without a paddle. Hard. So you and I are gonna have a private conversation. Ah crap! Oh, where'd she get the car from?
She knows how to get out of there quick.
Yeah. It's a she's the Phantom. And here's the worst thing too. She thinks he's a gate.
Yeah.
So if she finds out it's like, well, he's a Phantom, he he got to what? It's just gonna lead into this just spiraling case of despair that will just go. I love that they open up the opening with that shot because that is the best like quick lineup shot of all the Neo Heisei riders up until this point, who are still active, mind you. And a shot of All Dragon Special and Meteor Nadeshiko fusion states for Wizard and Forze respectively. Yes, that Forze form had skis.
Hmm.
Why? Cause shut up, you.
Because reasons.
Yes, because of the Nadeshiko switch. Because it just turns into whatever he wants, I guess. It just turned into skis because he needed to go down a mountain. I don't know and I don't care. That fight was awesome.
Looks like it.
It's all CGI. It's mostly CGI, but I don't care. It's awesome. It's just like the final fight in Mega Max. It's CGI and live action mixed together, and it's awesome. And of course, those two forms are fighting a semi truck and trailer that turn into a giant mechanical shark thing that is being piloted by a monster in the middle of a volcano. Need I say more? But you slow down, woman. Ah, shit.
Yeah. This is one of those. Ah, damn! Now I gotta be hero.
Now I gotta be very delicate about the situation because I can't go blabbing this to her. And I gotta get to her before he reveals himself to her. And this could be taken really comedic, but it doesn't. This is all taken very straight laced and serious. Okay, can you be less stalker? Granted, you're the bad guy, but I'm not trying to fight. I'm trying to. Archer's not trying to fight. He's just trying to be very delicate about this situation.
Oh God!
Ah, damn it! She had to say those words. Uh,
Damn it!
and you just see Naruto in the background, just ready to go.
He knew it too. That's why.
Hopefully, that cog on her head makes her forget the fact that she could possibly put two and two together right now. Then again, I think that's possibly the only explainable reason why she doesn't put two and two together immediately.
Probably.
Granted, that kind of makes sense.
I like the fact he looks back like, is she moving? Nope. Okay.
It's like, okay, she's breathing, but she's unconscious. I'll work with this. I'm on thin ice right now, and I don't need more complications. Ah, damn it.
Damn it. The slab of stone that he's gotten with all three of them looks like he ought to be able to make more than just one or two rings out of them.
True. You complain about them, complain about them people, about people making movies, and you're trying to direct a movie yourself.
Yeah, I'm serious though. I swear that stone looks like it should have made more than two rings.
True. Then again, what else is he going to make? He can only make what the stones tell him. So if it only tells him to make two rings, well, he can only make two rings. Um, he ran off some. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised she hasn't picked up on the fact that she's a gate too. When Haruto clearly said gates, Sarto's like just let her, let her, let her go. Let her say what she needs to say. She doesn't need to know. Do we really need a shot of the water? And we see how much harder this is going to be.
Yeah,
It's not just a movie, it's him. And since he's no longer the man she knew, and I mean that more literal than figuratively,
yeah. He kind of can't do that.
yep.
It's kind of too late.
Mhm. So Haruto's gonna have to make a very tough choice here. Fortunately, the only thing being torn apart today is you.
Wow, he's just nice, isn't he?
Yeah. And we see a very serious Haruto right now.
Yeah, he's just in fuck you mode.
Yeah, he has just had to lie to a gate, which is something he's probably very against in order to keep her, in order for her to not despair. And random
And
warehouse.
hello, abandoned warehouse that is somehow very close to where he just shot him at.
Yep. No, it's a warehouse that's near the waterfront somewhere.
Yeah, on
That
the
RC
waterfront.
camera.
On the waterfront though,
Sure.
because they were kind of standing on a dock looking at the water. So I mean, yeah,
I mean, it also doesn't help. It's the same warehouse that I've seen in Kyoryuger and Gokaiger versus Go Buster and half a dozen other Toku stuff. So it's around. Yes, they use the same warehouse too.
yeah.
Toei
Because
loves the reusing of locations.
well, I mean, it has to move a lot. The stuff in it looks like it's moved around, but it's possibly even the same one that we saw in Decade.
Probably.
Oh my god, I think it is.
For once, a villain decides to try to run over our hero.
When the car spun, I saw the door set up over there, and I'm like, oh my god, I think it is. And missed.
Hope someone has insurance on that.
It was in an abandoned warehouse, so it'll be fine.
Nah.
That sword packed a punch.
Mm-hmm. And we're back out to here. Because
Right back where
we
we
need to
started.
Yeah, because we need to demo Water Dragon real quick. And we need to do it as epically as possible. Also, water and land break the trend of the chants for Haruto's forms, and that they don't all use one word.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Also, say hello to Mystic Liquid by the Kamen Rider Girls, which reminds me of Mario Kart for some reason. It's just this beginning part that reminds me of Mario Kart.
I kind of agree with you. So he's got Dragon's Tail.
Yep. To divide the waters.
Well, he knows how to part the waters.
Mm-hmm. And
What,
now?
Blizzard?
Yep.
So it's a ice water form?
Yeah. Just like how Hurricane
Huh.
Dragon has wind and thunder. They're kind of related.
So really, Flame Dragon's the only true to itself one.
Yeah. Well, it's the only one that doesn't require that only needs special to finish finish an enemy off.
Hmm.
As with the other three dragon forms, he needs the special ring plus that specific other ring. Kind of. He yeah, he went to halfway across the world. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's on the other side of the world. So you two will never come across each other.
Ever.
Ever. I'm also not making up all this shit out of my ass. And Haruto's just like, buy this please, buy this please, buy this please, buy this please.
Yes.
Because I do not want to tell you the truth.
Although you've got to give him credit. He's very good at making up bullshit.
Yes. Better than Decade, mind you.
Yes.
Because at least this is kind of believable. This stock music.
Seriously.
I love it. It's so like 70s, 80s stock piano music. I swear this movie needs to be black and white. Then it'd be perfect. Granted, we'll never pick up on this plot ever in
Oh
Wizard.
God. Really?
Yes.
This is so something that they could pull back, and it's like, ah, because she's not leaving.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not leaving the city even.
hmm
Ah.
Yeah, they never really pick up on it. But the end off kind of made sense. I think it should have been more reflective of Haruto than to bring her back. Because we saw Haruto, he made a hard decision, but he still was like, I'll just not tell her. And he's like, oh, I'll tell her someday. But he's still like, I'm not telling her. Which is, it's just something about that strikes me because Haruto's always trying to kind of push people to kind of let go of their past and to move forward. He doesn't do that for her.
I
She
think
doesn't.
it's because he knows that if she knew about what actually happened,
hmm
then that would cause him more problems than it'd be worth.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the reason for Haruto not to tell her, but it goes against his character.
Yes. Yeah, he's willing to compromise on something, which we will see him do from time to time, and I wish it got more emphasis.
I wish they'd go back and they went back and touched on some of this stuff because there's
You've got all these gates that, while they're out of town, they're still there, and I always had like in the back of my mind going, maybe there's something, maybe that plays into how he gets his final form, which is not the case, as I said last week. I can pretty much say this: no Gate really comes back after their 2 episodes.
which kind of sucks.
Yeah, and even this is props to Double. Even with Double, they had previous case people come back from time to time. Most of them made a reappearance in A to Z. Because here's the thing about A to Z. You remember that scene where they're all cheering on Double?
Yeah.
Most of the people you'll see in those scenes are people they helped.
Hmm.
A lot of people in those scenes are from previous episodes, are people that hired Shotaro and Akihiko to investigate whatever.
Hmm.
They are, and that's what made that scene even better. Is it's those people that Double helped throughout the show that are now cheering him on when he needs it the most. When they need it the most. I can't say he because it's they. Double's a 2-in-1 writer.
Yes.
Can't forget that. So
Hmm.
yeah, thoughts on this week's episodes after watching that?
Honestly, I have to agree with you. That so far does feel like a very good filler arc.
Mm-hmm.
And it really puts an emphasis on the fact that Haruto's willing to do anything it takes, including breaking his own character, to make sure that he don't destroy Gates' hope.
Mm-hmm. And we'll see sometimes later on that he's willing to do that even when it's not a Gate, when it's someone really close to him, and that he will go even farther and possibly delude himself in order to do something.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's gonna be a. I mark it as a controversial point because if you like Haruto, you'll be willing to understand the scene. If you don't like Haruto, you will hate him possibly after that scene. Granted, that's way deep into the show. We're talking like final arc material right there.
Huh.
But yeah, that deep into the show is what I'm talking about. Where
Jeez.
where that's going to come back up hard and is a controversial point for the character potentially, depending on how you feel about him. So yeah, like I said, this was a really good arc, and it's odd to see that wise man scene because that's not going to quite make sense later. I don't think.
Really?
No,
Hmm.
not with what we find out. That I'm kind of like going, wait a minute. I get the interaction with Wise Man and White Wizard as the bookends, but Wise Man popping out that stone is like, huh? Wait, what? How? When? Wait, what? No. Wait, what? What? I'm confused. I'm confused now. How? So yeah. Although I'm curious, what do you think of Wise Man and White Wizard? Off, coming off these 2 episodes, considering that scene.
it kind of it kind of looks almost like White Wizard has been keeping his eye very close on him. I
I
mean,
would.
I could understand where it could also be misconstrued as possibly they're the same, but I don't know. I'm not really seeing that connection.
I will tell you the theory I had right now, and I'll tell you this right now. At this point in Wizard, people were thinking Wise Man and White Wizard were the same person.
That's what I'm saying. I could see that misconception there, but I don't think that's the case.
I can tell you the theory I had. I figured that they were simply playing both sides against each other, and that they were just two masters playing a chess game against each other. White Wizard with Haruto, Wise Man with the Phantoms.
Right.
That was my theory at this time. That they're just simply two puppet masters playing the sides against each other, and that's why Wise Man is like, he came and got the stone. My plan is coming together. I can't wait for that white wizard guy to deliver this. Can't wait for that that pesky wizard to get it. Then we'll have some true fun. Right, and that was my theory. I didn't have really much to go off of. I just thought that was where they were going, possibly, or at least a route they were going. I also didn't write off completely that Wise Man and White Wizard were the same person. I didn't, because that's an entire possibility.
Well, the only reason I kind of did was because of the simple fact of you catch that glimpse of the little bitty spy down there at the corner.
Hmm.
Right.
I will say it seemed like Wise Man turned directly to Cerberus and said some, and was saying that line to him. So he knew he was there, or at least I believe he knows he's there.
He might have assumed something was there, because there ain't no telling how many times Cerberus came there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else I thought at this time in terms of the whole White Man, White Wizard thing. I have found out later that White Man and Wise Man and White Wizard, they have two different voice actors right now. They're being
Hmm.
played by two different people. What that says, I don't know. But take that for what you will. I know what's true, and I'm trying to keep from saying and or hinting at it.
Right.
I'm trying to leave it open. Because we will find out, and I will say the specific episode as soon as I find it. It's deep into the show. Let me make sure. We will find out. It's episode 47. The truth.
You know what you were saying about Wise Man and Cerberus?
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually directing it to anything. I think he's more talking to the stone.
Yeah, he's talking about the stone. But he turns his head. So while he's saying the comment, he's also looking. Because he also tails off on it. And coincidentally enough, the title for episode 47 is called The Truth About Wise Man.
Hmm.
So that is when we will find out about the truth about Wise Man. I say no more. Anyway, so good episode this week. Next week, and I can't believe I clicked off of this when I was just about to refer to it again.
Good one.
Next week is when we're going to be a bit off for a while. Next week, we're going to be doing the Christmas episode, which is episode 16, and then the first half of the Beast arc. This is the arc that introduces Beast.
Hmm.
He has one of the funniest moments in the show. It is truly one of the funniest moments in the show. And it is when he is transforming. It is great. Nito's a fantastic character. I love him as a just as the funny secondary writer. I wish he got a little bit more front loaded before later on, but yeah, Nito is a great character. So yeah, we're gonna be doing halves of arcs for a while until I'm gonna make sure 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, up until 23, where we will then be back on a arc to arc week, pretty much, until we get closer to the end, where it's just going to be an episode to episode story.
So we'll have 4 weeks of splitting arcs.
Yeah. They'll kind of blend together because I believe it's after the Nito arc we start getting into Phantom's kind of not Phantom's Phoenix's extended arc that really focuses on him. So it will be kind of a bit of a story to story, episode to episode story, I believe. I'm trying to remember. I really remember like the later half of it. I remember the later half of it, and I remember parts of it, but I don't remember it fully.
So that was that gap where it's kind of forgettable.
Not really. It's just been it's 20 some odd episodes. It's very beginning of the show for me. So it's the really early stuff, and I forget some parts of it. Like I forgot about the wise man scene. Like I was even surprised to see it because I'm like, I completely forgot this scene later on. Completely.
Of course, were you not also watching this when you were doing it on a weekly basis?
Yeah, I was watching this week to week as it was airing. So I watched it week to week. I did not miss a week at all. I didn't, miss a couple weeks and then threw in a bunch of episodes. No, I watched it week to week to week like any other TV show. Because I know some people will get caught up in stuff and then watch a whole bunch of episodes back to back. Which I only do that for shows that are not airing at the moment. I'll watch back to back episodes of something that's not currently airing. But if it's currently airing, I gotta watch the episode as soon as it comes out.
Kind of like Gaim.
Yes. So pretty much for the week to week with Wizard, as soon as I saw Overtime put it up, boom, I was there. As soon as I saw it. Granted, it wasn't as soon as they released it, it was as soon as I saw it. Because I follow them on Twitter. And I also check their blog way more often than I should. On Sundays and Mondays. Because I'm like, did they put it up yet? No. Did they put it up yet? No. Did they put it up yet? No. And I think sometimes I would beat Twitter putting it out to getting it. Sometimes, I think. I swear I'd be on the website and I'd see it and I wouldn't see it on Twitter just yet. So yeah, I was really into Wizard. So I might be more lenient on this show than I possibly should. Possibly. I don't know.
Possibly.
We'll find out by the end whether I'm going to be more lenient on the show than I need to. Because I found out recently, after watching a review for My Little Pony, that brought up a lot of valid points about the show, that I might have been too harsh on it. Possibly. I know that's really weird for me to say, that I was too harsh on My Little Pony, but I might have been too harsh. I might have
Hey,
got caught. I might have got caught up in all the internet hate. Granted, I didn't know people hated the show when I watched it. I just knew this was that show that people were talking about. Now I'm like, let's watch this for our first episode. Because screw it. People are talking about it, let's watch it. And it's not like I had any big problems with the show, and what the hell?
what the hell is that?
Are you still there? Yes, I am. Shut up, you.
Doom, 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 doom.
Anyway, I think we need to end off because we're past the 2 hour mark.
Yeah.
We're at 2:16, so
Yeah.
we need to end off. So that'll do it this week for
Ramp it up, Salon.
Pacebreaker 2448 saying, "Not everybody. We'll see you on the next round of the game of the Saloon Rift Tracks. Peace out."
As always, you can find the Game and Saloon Rift Tracks on our site at tgsr.dyndns.org. Don't forget to follow us on our social medias, on Twitter by following at TGS Rift Tracks, on Facebook at facebook.com/TGS on Google Plus at gplus.to/TGS Rift Tracks, and on YouTube at youtube.com/user/TGS Rift Tracks. Don't forget about our mobile app. It will be updated after every TGSR episode with archives for both TGS and TGSR. Be sure to check it out. Till next time.